We live in a place that explains to us what radiation is, tells us how harmful it can be, and then they surround us with constant low levels of radiation, telling us that it's nothing to be worried about. Yet the cancer rate seems to increase as technology does. This is Real Fake News, and today I'm talking about 5G towers.
Hey, y'all think I'm going to say? Shit. All this anesthesia. Motherfucking hurricanes came through, but it wasn't no FEMA. Goddamn, they left us in the water by the dirt, dust. Niggas never really gave a fuck.
Niggas hit you with that anesthesia, put you to sleep, bruh. You know it's the killer nigga woods where we creep, bruh. You know that my ninja they good, push like a jeep, bruh. Catching niggas for days, no rest, math the reaper. Muscle memory in my cells, clap like a sleeper. Swim through money, I need a cell, these rivers deeper. My niggas got bonds, no better when shit go heater. Hammers banging, we bleed, your bodies everywhere, FEMA.
Now, the thing about 5G towers, or the conversation around it, is that it was going on at the same time as another certain situation was happening. We know we can't talk about that. But while that was happening, a couple correlations was made between the 5G and the other thing. And you see that it leads to an opportunity for a serious concern to be delegitimized. Now, the conversation is about radiation, and that's the sad part, right? Because that's what should have been focused on. With any type of radio frequencies, microwave technology, right? That shit is radiation. Now, our country would love to tell us that, or scientists in general, they tell us that low levels of poison are fine. That's what they say to us. We see it even in, if you look up, go for yourself and look up why America allows things like Skittles to be sold. Because Skittles was being banned in different countries. And then I went to the store, because, you know, I don't buy candy like that. I went to the store and I'm looking at it. I'm like, why is Skittles still in the store? I thought it was found to be toxic. Because America don't give a fuck. They don't care. So they'll tell us that low levels of radiation is fine. Just like they'll tell us that low levels of the chemicals that's found in shit like Skittles is fine. While other countries are actively banning these things. So radiation. My concern with this 5G tower shit only started with finding out something about cell phones, right? And it's all about natural thought. And that's what I love about being me in a way. I see things and I start to question what the fuck is going on with it, right? So I asked myself, if cell phones use radio frequencies, or they use radio waves, since cell phones use radio waves to communicate, there has to be some sort of radiation that's being let off while it's in use, right? Now, the question of are cell phones poisoning people before was a problem. And they told you things like don't keep it in your pocket next to your genitals. And that was a legit problem. But before, when we had flip phones and the phones that came before those, the fucking brick phones, that's what we should call them. I don't know if somebody does already. Those things were things that you weren't on all the time. It was only a problem when you sent the call, right? So if you're sitting on the phone for an extended period of time, you're getting an extended period of radiation because you're actually on the phone call. But with the technology that we have today, your phone is always on the internet, right? So it's always transmitting some sort of signal, which means it's always emitting radiation. If it's always emitting radiation, and you also now have a device that's said to be the most important thing to our society, because you can do everything on it. It can simultaneously be something to use in an emergency. It could be dark outside. You could use the bitch as a flashlight. You know what I'm saying? You could call your loved ones on it. You could text them. You can now see them no matter where they are. You can speak to the entire world from your phone. You can see the entire world from your phone. So you're going to keep that on you, and you're going to use it more and more. The more features that come out, the more you're going to use it. But then again, it's emitting constant low levels of radiation. Now, the question I like to ask, the same question I asked about the chemical shit, which is, how much of low levels of something is truly a bad thing, right? If you could say to me, right, high fructose corn syrup is a bad thing, and then you ask me to have self-control, but then you turn around and you put high fructose corn syrup in everything that I buy at the supermarket, right? Then how much of this little thing that you'll tell me eventually, the word will come out, what you'll say is, you can have these things in small amounts. But when you keep taking these things in small amounts, it amounts to great amounts eventually. So how much low-level radiation becomes high-level radiation? How many phone calls can I make before it starts to become a problem for my body? And these are the things that's always seen as conspiracy theories. It can never be seen as, hey, radiation is a real thing. And of course, if you have radiation being emitted around a person at a constant basis, then it should have some negative effects. That's a simple thing to say. It's a logical thing to say. But the other side of that is that we have sites out here right now that's dedicated to debunking shit that the internet says. And it only really became a thing, right? It might have been a thing, but it wasn't so easy to find until after the situation happened a couple years ago. You try to find out anything about something that you heard, and then you get the website that pops up first that says, this is fake, this is why it's fake. And it always ends up being, the explanation being, because no studies have shown that this is true. Nigga, you ain't do no studies. If the motherfucking thing is not even out yet, right? Talking about the 5G towers. If the thing isn't even out yet, and you have people who understand radiation speaking about how this shit could be harmful to the average everyday human being, especially if you putting it in they fucking neighborhoods. If the 5G is so strong, why can't you put that shit in the woods somewhere? Right? It's supposed to be so strong, it's so powerful, so put it in the woods. Put it somewhere else. Put it anywhere but right on neighborhood blocks. But they just dismiss the whole damn thing. And that's what happens with everything in our fucking country. We have a legitimate question about it. People who have legitimate knowledge in these situations have questions, and you just get dismissed and you get called a conspiracy theorist. It's insane. Now, when you look at the cell phones and you go on the internet and you research, and I'm gonna include a little screen grab of the motherfucking document. You go to the government sites, it tells you that there have been some studies, testing cell phones in the current way that they are and linking it to cancer or, brain tumors. And there have been some links that have been found, but they said they need to study it more. Now, of course, these studies don't come from America because America do not care. It is my strong belief that America already knows what's going on at all times, and they just do not care. In fact, they might be actively hoping that it goes in the way that we all see it going. That's all I can see. I don't know how to hold this microphone, sorry. I'm not used to this. The stand is too tall when I'm sitting on this couch. But the studies led off with saying that, or they finished off with saying that they need more studying to do because the levels of radiation are so low that it could take, theoretically, it could take around 10 to 15 years to even see a response from some of these things. And that's one of the things I've been saying the entire time with everything that happens in America. It's no surprise that the medicine is fucked up, and you'll see a depression medicine, and then you'll see a new depression medicine that come out from the same damn company at the same time as you seeing a class action lawsuit for the previous medicine that they put out for the same ass thing. And then it's just a cycle, and it keeps happening. It keeps happening. None of this shit is real. None of this shit is what you're supposed to be fucking with, and they know it. And it produces bad effects. But these bad effects take years. And by the time the effects happen, it's to their mentality. Because they didn't do any long-term studies on anything. America does not do long-term studies on anything. And because they didn't do that, there's no way for them to link what you have now to something you took 5 years ago or something that you've been taking for 5 years, because it seems like you just happen to develop this. If you could tell a person your diet, right, and you develop cancer or diabetes, and you're like, well, we don't, it must just be in your genes. Well, maybe the shit that they eating, even though it seems healthy on the surface, maybe it's not really healthy, because we know how that shit work too. Could be cancer in the food, we don't know because they not studying it. Toxins, nigga, if toxins lead to cancer and chemicals carry the toxins, and you put these chemicals inside all of our food, all these man-made chemicals, all these fucking manipulated chemicals, right? Because chemicals exist in the world. Don't come to me talking no stupid shit like it's chemicals and everything. Shut your stupid ass up. I don't want to hear none of that. I'm talking about the man-made chemicals we know that have been manipulated by niggas and put into shit that it wasn't supposed to be put in. We got to force these niggas to do the studies, man. Because that cell phone shit is serious. And if other countries are looking into it and saying, hey, it might not be the best thing to sleep with the shit by your side. It might not be the best thing to carry the shit with you. It might not be the best thing to sit on it for hours. Then maybe this is something that we should be looking into. Maybe this is something that we should care about. Maybe when the random celebrity comes up to go on a talk show and say, hey man, these people talking about the 5G towers, they sure are crazy, aren't they? Maybe you shouldn't listen to these weird ass niggas that you call weird every time they life start fucking up. You damn sure do that. The 5G tower poses a problem because everything that produces radiation poses a problem. Nigga, your microwave is a problem. They'll tell you that it's not, but it has radiation. Nigga, you think that little glass is protecting that? You think the glass is just protecting you from the radiation? Nigga, what happens with the radiation? Nigga, you done radiated the food, right? You're using radiation to heat the food up. Not even in theory, in practice. So now, what happens to that shit that you eating that you just heated up, right? Now, let's say if X-rays ran hot, right? Because X-rays are a thing. That's radiation. But it don't run hot like a microwave run. Would you take your plate of food into the X-ray machine and heat that bitch up like that, knowing damn well that they'll tell you to cover up your genitals going into that room? I wouldn't do it. Because the thing I think is that, man, the way radiation seems to come off this X-ray, it probably get into my food. Why wouldn't you think the same thing about microwaves? The reason why you don't think the same thing about microwaves is because you've been taught since childhood to not think the same thing about microwaves. Because commercials come out, right? The fuck was that? The people who own the shit, the fuck, I guess that was a light. The people who own the products come out to tell you, hey, this isn't a problem. But we see the shit all the time, how America is perfectly fine letting a nigga promote something that's clearly bad for the people. Roundup was supposedly clearly good for the people, nigga. Until it came out that it was clearly bad for the people and was causing cancer, motherfuckers, just like everything else does. So you're gonna put these strong ass motherfucking internet servers around everywhere. And you telling me it's to strengthen internet? When I've been able, since I left high school, I've been able to go to many a neighborhood, right? And be able to just get on the internet for free, my nigga. All I gotta do is sign up with my damn email. And I know they tracking me. That's the funny part. But all I gotta do is sign up with my email. I don't give a fuck. I'll put my email, nigga. You might be tracking me, but I don't give a fuck. I don't go nowhere real. You know what I'm saying? So the internet is fine. I got 5G in this bitch I don't trust. This shit loud as hell. You know what I'm saying? After a while, because it's in my sunroom, I start noticing that he ain't sleeping the same. He's not sleeping well. So I took him out of that room because I don't think I'm about to take this shit out of this house, nigga. Because in all honesty, I don't want this shit no more, son. I'm trying to figure out a way, and it might just be to start understanding that these things were never supposed to be used by us. I had somebody tell me when I was young, everything on this earth is made by shit from this earth. So if a car was made today, right? And you have to understand that people are smart. What the fuck stopped niggas from making a car 2,000 years ago? They didn't think they needed it. What stopped niggas 3,000 years ago from making a spaceship and leaving the earth? What would have been the fucking point? Still to this day, what is the point? What do you gain from that? The only thing we've seemed to gain from traveling to space is a lack of fucking appreciation for the literal fucking planet that keeps us all alive, right? Just take this whole shit for granted. Oh, there's another one out there somewhere. That's all that shit do, and give us a bunch of products that end up doing what? Putting more chemicals into our food and our water, nigga. That's it. Nothing accomplishes anything. So do we really need these things? The answer is no. But again, the issue is we being controlled by motherfuckers. So just like in the video where it's from the news, and I'll put it in, and they didn't speak nothing about the radiation issues. They spoke mostly about the fact that the thing is real big and it look like an eyesore in the neighborhood. That's what they talking about.
Well, 5G towers are starting to be installed in neighborhoods across the city.
And while they're meant to improve internet service, people who live around them say that the towers are imposing and an eyesore.
All right, Christine Russo has reaction from Brooklyn.
We just don't have no idea what it is. Does it help the neighborhood? Does it help the residential property value?
Marion Little, owner of this Brooklyn hardware store, says he was shocked to see a 32-foot tower seemingly appear overnight right outside of his shop.
It's extremely huge. I mean, it's really huge. It's almost like an eyesore.
Others walking by also confused about the structure.
It's the first one I've seen in my life. A large antenna. A large antenna. A lot of people call me, email me, text me, like, what is that? What is going on? And I have no answer.
It's like, come on. And by the way, my fucking cousin, this nigga Bloodbath Bass, this nigga father is in the video. I just randomly looked up that video and he happened to be in it talking about it. You know what I'm saying? But I'm sure people talked about the radiation, but I'm sure they just didn't hear that part. But they not going to talk about the real things in it. They're not going to bring up the real questions because they don't care about none of that. They there to steer the public into a certain direction when they think about this shit. But the public opinion in that area seems to be, they said that they held a neighborhood fucking meeting or whatever to approve the shit. But everybody in the video was like, well, when did they do that?
Over in Fort Greene, Renee Collymore also has questions.
No one came to us to ask us if we wanted it, if we were concerned.
The New York City Office of Technology and Innovation partnered with Link NYC to install 2,000 5G antenna towers over the next few years. A spokesperson with Link says they got extensive community input during the process, like reviews with community boards, and chose specific areas that currently have little broadband.
If they did a community research, with who? Because it wasn't with me. Who did you meet with? And what were the results of the meeting? And why were we not at the table?
We just don't know. That's the whole issue. We just don't know. We have no answers.
And you can't really expect people to say, oh, there's a neighborhood meeting, 12 o'clock tomorrow, everybody come. Niggas got shit to do with their lives, and the government knows that. The government operates from 9 to 5, 8:30 to 4:30, really. So what you're essentially asking is for most people to try to get to this thing in the times that they supposed to be going to work. Who the fuck got time? If you're supposed to be living your life as a responsible adult, you got shit to do. And then you got kids. I'm supposed to come over here to this shit. I don't got time for that, son. And then on top of that, even though I don't have time for it, maybe I would have time for it if you told niggas what the meeting was about in the first place. Don't just say, hey, there's a meeting down the block at 8 o'clock. Tell me what the meeting is for, so I can see if I give a fuck about it before. I'm not about to come over here and dedicate a section of my whole day, which is mostly spent doing bullshit I don't want to do, and come over here to maybe sit through some shit that I don't even care about. They'll tell you about the zoning, right? They'll tell you about we trying to build another park. That's what this about. But when they doing some weird shit like putting up towers in your damn neighborhood, they not gonna promote that. Meeting at 8. Show up or don't, nigga. I might include a little thing from a little talk with Bad Said, seeing as he's the one who really like introduced me to the shit. Shout out to Bloodbath Bass. I heard something about the 5G towers just, fucking with me being who I am. But I wasn't taking it serious until, like I said, I start researching the cell phone shit. You start researching the cell phone shit, you're like, okay, well, that shit is that. And the 5G tower does that on an extremely higher basis. So if that's a little bit dangerous, then that has to be extremely dangerous. You think logically in life. Use the information you've been given by these same people to expose what the fuck they telling you. But I might include this nigga in here so he could, say a couple words, especially since he might not have seen the video. I don't know if he done spoke to his father and known that he on the news talking about the 5G tower, because I just saw it a couple days ago. So I'm like, damn, this nigga said it was coming and I need to get the fuck up out of New York. And he right. But it's like, damn, nigga, how do you just leave somewhere on a whim? Especially in 2023, nigga. You know what I'm saying? It's easy to go anywhere, but I feel like it was much easier before all this internet bullshit where you could just run up on a motherfucker and be like, hey, I'm an able-bodied man. Give me a job. Pay me money and I'll go about my way, because that's the shit I'm into. I don't want to tie myself. Anywhere that I go, I kind of got to tie myself to some motherfucking company with the expectations that I'm going to stay there for a while. And if I don't, then motherfuckers are trying to put dirt all on my name in the universe. Nah, nigga. Nah, nigga. I'm not going for it. But the fucking main thing, if I don't put the bass thing, whatever, it's going to come somewhere or it's not. Look for it or don't. But, you know, the main thing to take from this is what to always take from it. You have to look at the shit for yourself. Don't allow these niggas to tell you, hey, this isn't dangerous. Why? Because I said so. How many years of testing did you do on it? We did 3 months. Okay, that's unacceptable, nigga. And I'm not taking it. I'm just not accepting it. So my job from this point on is to say, there's a 5G tower in Fort Greene, my birthplace. Let me see what the cancer rates are doing over the next 3 to 5 years. And that's your job too. Your job is not to forget about this shit, nigga. Your job is to not wait until the news, CBS is on the TV talking about well, people seem to think that the 5G towers that were installed 5 years ago are the reason for the increases in cancer rates today. But we're here to tell you that that's surely not the reason, because that's what they're going to do. They're going to do it. Because they always do it. It's motherfucking real nigga news, man. That's what I'm supposed to be. But from this point on, I'm changing the shit to real fake news. I got to be more palatable for the world. And in all honesty, this shit all fake. Niggas at large don't support me. My biggest following that I had at any point with this shit was mostly coming from niggas outside of the country. And they wasn't coming from English-speaking countries, mostly. They wasn't coming from white-dominated countries. They wasn't even really coming from so-called black-dominated countries. They was coming from everywhere else. All the motherfucking places I consider to be weird. Not weird like abnormal, weird like foreign to me. You know what I'm saying? As an American black. So I don't need the name. The name is played out anyway. You type in real nigga news, you gotta search through. Well, not now, because I got a couple more followers. So, or subscribe, whatever the fuck you call it, I don't care. But I got a couple more people that's on my shit. So I guess my shit'll pop up more frequently when you look for it. But still, it's like, man, fuck all that shit. It's too many people that got the same damn name. I'm gonna be real fake news because the government and the media say that this shit is fake, right? I see all of they shit is fake. So whenever I'm speaking about it, it's all fake because you can't call it news because it's not no like covering the rent shit. It's not no this is what's happening. This is what's made to be happening, and this is what we have to talk about because of what's being made to happen. This shit all fake. So from this point on, even though it hurts me to say this for real, I gotta be real fake news, nigga. And I'm gonna make a mockery of this shit, just like these niggas that made a mockery out of living a normal human existence. I'm out this bitch. Peace.
Niggas hit you with that anesthesia, put you to sleep, bruh. You know it's the killer nigga woods where we creep, bruh. You know that my ninja they good, push like a Jeep, bruh. Catching niggas for days, no rest, math the reaper. Muscle memory in my cells, clap like a sleeper. Swim through money, I need a cell, these rivers deeper. My niggas got bars, no better when shit go heater. Hammers banging, we bleed, your bodies everywhere, FEMA.